Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about what I'm doing to prepare for the housing market crash and what I think you should do depending on your age range. If you're 17 and under, the first thing I would do is study the markets that you want to invest and live in. If you're too young to get a job at a grocery store or a fast food place, then I would start a business doing lawn care or walking dogs or whatever you can think of. I would also open up a bank account to start saving money and a brokerage account to start investing in the stock market, whether that be ETFs, mutual funds, or individual stocks. I would just start creating the habits now. At this age range, it's not so much the amount or the percentage that you're putting away, it's the fact that you're creating the habit of investing that's the most important part. If you're 18 years old, the first thing I would do is open up 3 lines of credit. Now, I wouldn't do them all on the same day, but I would definitely open up at least a secured credit card or a store credit card like Kohl's or Walmart or wherever you shop, and then wait 91 days to open up a second line of credit. The reason is because you're going to want 3 lines of credit to be able to establish credit history to purchase a home. And the reason you wait 91 days is because you don't want the second and third credit card to be denied because you open too many in the same day, especially if you're 18 and you don't have a long credit history. If you haven't already decided, now's a good time to pick a trade school or a degree in college that you're going to go for, or just jump right into a full-time job. If you didn't have parent or guardian approval, now you can open up a bank account and an investment account and get started, creating those habits if you haven't already. If you're ambitious, you can try a part-time job while you're going to college or trade school. And if you're really ambitious, then you can start a full-time job and go to school full-time, whether that be trade school or whatever college you decide to go to. Now, if you're 19 to 25 years old, I would recommend doing an internship in the degree field. So, for example, if you're looking to become a doctor, then maybe see if you can start doing some internships. If you're looking to get into cybersecurity or coding or real estate property management or title company or any degree field, pretty much, there's usually an internship. Even if it's unpaid, I'd recommend it just so you can see if it's what you want to do. The worst thing is to go to college and pay for a 7-year degree to find out it's something that you're not passionate about. So I would definitely, as quickly as possible, try to do an internship in the degree field that you're going if you do decide to go to college. If you are working, then I would invest a large portion of your raises, if not all of your raises. If you decided to go to college and not have a job, I would try to do it in 3 years instead of 4. So maybe take on more courses or just see if there's any way you can CLEP out or, try to graduate as quickly as possible if you can. Consider getting your real estate license in the state that you want to buy and invest. This will be really helpful not only to kind of learn the lay of the land in the state that you're looking to invest, but you can also potentially save some money and put it towards your down payment, your commission. If you're 25 to 30 years old and you haven't already found a career path, I would recommend looking for something that has high pay or quick growth, something like an analyst or a project manager or an engineer or whatever field you're kind of interested in. Maybe just research different areas. And I know people always say like, oh, well, I don't want to work for money, but at the end of the day, you're still working for money. Whether you're working for minimum wage and you just want to have fun, you still show up because of the paycheck. If they take your paycheck away, I guarantee you're not going to show up. So why not get paid more to do something that you might actually end up liking? At the end of the video, I'll tell you my story and kind of give you an example of what I mean by this, looking for a quick growth or high pay. If you went straight into a trade school or a full-time job right out of high school and you're still struggling to save, then I would start looking for either a different career path or maybe a second job or a side hustle. And if it has nothing to do with your income, then maybe look at different areas to cut expenses or possibly move to a cheaper area. If you're 31 years and older and you haven't already, I would save at least 5% down in the area that you're looking to purchase. So if you've already got your area identified and you know the housing prices are about $500,000, I would save at least $25,000 for the down payment and then maybe $3,000 for closing costs like title, escrow, appraisal, inspection. It could be a little more, it could be a little less, but at least 5% plus a little cushion for closing costs. And the reason I say 5% is because the FHA loans, they're just pure garbage now. They have, sometimes it goes towards the life of the loan, the interest, the insurance that you have to pay. And the only way to get out of it is to refinance. And 3.5% versus 5%. If you're unable to save that 1.5%, honestly, I'd recommend not buying at all. It's that bad. Now, I can't possibly know everybody's situation, but if you're 31 years and older and you're still living paycheck to paycheck, or you're going into debt just to survive by putting groceries or food on your credit card, then something needs to change. Either your expenses need to come way down or your income needs to come way up. And if you haven't already realized that something needs to change and you're not working towards it, then I would definitely, maybe do some soul searching. And if you've already realized that something needs to change and you are working towards it, then kudos to you. Good job. At least you're getting started now. It's never too late. I'll tell you my story. I changed careers twice before I reached 30 years old. Here's just kind of a quick recap on why I recommend 5% down, or pretty much why I recommend not getting an FHA loan, why I recommend getting a conventional loan. You might even be able to save more money with a conventional loan by doing a 3% versus a FHA loan at 3.5%. Obviously, laws change all the time. I'd talk to your lender. My first house was purchased on FHA, but that was before 2013 and before they had all these crazy regulations and added stuff where the MIP is for the life of the loan, and the only way to get out of it is refinancing. So definitely do your research. Now, my prediction is that the eviction moratorium is going to end, and then people are going to start getting evicted and rentals are going to start going on the market, and the government's going to step in to save the day, just like they did back in 2008 when they were offering $8,000 to first-time home buyers. And then after that Band-Aid is removed, the real crash can take place. So the real crash could possibly take several years. So even if the crash starts this month, it could be 5 years before the bottom of the market is realized. And especially with an election year next year, they're definitely going to want to step in and make sure that nobody's losing their home when they're about to vote. So no matter what side of the aisle you're on, if there's an election coming, usually the government steps in. We've seen this with Bush, we've seen this with Obama, and we even saw it with Trump with the eviction moratorium. If you can't wait it out and you're putting your life on hold waiting for the next crash, it's not like the stock market where it crashes and recovers within a couple months or even a couple years at max. This is usually a long delayed process, and some of my previous videos I've shown some cities that still haven't recovered from the 2006 crash. So I wouldn't put my life on hold, but depending on your age range, I would kind of, reassess and reevaluate and decide what you need to do based on, waiting 5 years for the bottom. You don't have to wait for the absolute bottom and time it perfectly to get a good deal. I timed it perfectly on accident back in 2011, but you could have bought a house in 2013 or 2009 and you still would have made out pretty. So the point is, getting in the game is kind of the most important thing. I actually bought a house earlier this year, even though I knew a crash was coming. A little bit about my story is I opened up a bank account at 8 years old with $56. I would do everything I could to save money. I would sell my Halloween candy to kids at school. At 13 years old, I would go door to door, offering pet sitting or house sitting or lawn work or whatever the neighbors needed. And to this day, actually, when people come to my door, I usually hire them just to help them out. At 16, I started college full-time. I had 2 part-time jobs and a side hustle. At 18 years old, I did an internship with Equity Residential, which is Sam Zell's company. They were the largest apartment complex owner in the country. At 19 years old, I started working at a title company. At 20 years old, I got my real estate license and bought my first house that same year. 23, I restarted my career because I realized that the only way to get promoted at the title company was for someone to die or someone to get fired or move companies. There was literally no way to get promoted. So I quickly realized I needed to do something different. So I got into the healthcare industry and took a step down, became an administrative coordinator at 23. I loved the people I worked with, but I absolutely hated the job. I was literally everybody's secretary. So, at one point I was supporting 21 different directors, and, if they needed water bottles, I'd go get them water bottles. If they needed, a pen or highlighter or lunch or whatever, I was getting everybody food and this and that. And it was definitely very humbling, but also one of the worst jobs I've ever had in my life. Just wasn't for me. I know some people like it, but I did not like it. And I'm very grateful because it did offer me the opportunity to kind of look at different career paths and network with different directors. I was about to get a job as a project coordinator until someone went to HR and complained that I was too young and they had more experience. And so, out of fear, the director ended up hiring that person instead of me. And so then I was stuck. And then I met with another director and was about to become a business analyst. But then there was a freeze on all new hires or promotions because of, the market, the economy, whatever was going on at the time. And so the only positions that were able to get hired during this freeze was cybersecurity and digital. And that's when I realized, okay, well, I need to look at a different career. So at 26, I changed career paths again and went into cybersecurity as like the lowest level for cybersecurity. But just to get my foot in the door, it was a long-term play. And I absolutely love my job now, still in cybersecurity. I bought a mobile home park at 29, and I currently save 50% of my income for retirement and also for when the next real estate market crash happens. I know I said a little bit earlier that I would talk kind of about my aha moment. It was when I was an administrative coordinator. I was making about $20 an hour. And I would listen to Money Mustache and people that were retiring early, and I would say, well, of course you're retiring early. You make 100,000. Well, of course you're retiring early. You're an engineer and all this stuff. And then I thought to myself, and I said, well, wait a minute. Why can't you become an engineer? And that's when I realized instead of complaining, I'm actually going to do something about it and change my life. So that's when I went back to school and kind of, just been working hard to get into the area that I'm in today. Thank you for watching my video. Hopefully you found it informative. And if you wouldn't mind liking, sharing, and subscribing if you want more videos like this.